So I've read through The Gift, the 64th Gene Key, The Gift of Imagination, after the Shadow of Confusion. So I'd like for you to imagine what the gift of imagination is like. Just a second, please. Oh, it's just how I want it. Okay. So I'm going to read a few bits from the book itself, from The Gift of Imagination, and then read a poem that I wrote about it. So the 64th gift, imagination, the art of life. The suffering we feel is an illusion when it comes to our minds, and our minds hold the key to its release. At the shadow frequency, the mind automatically collapses into confusion when faced with the pain underlying life. Interestingly, this is one of the roles of meditation, to allow this pain to rise to the surface of your awareness so that it can be transmuted. All it takes is a willingness to feel the pain, and the miracle begins. Once you realize that there is no point in trying to make the pain go away, you will finally begin to see the loop you have been caught in. The more you watch your mind trying to understand and or avoid the confusion, the more a shift inside you begins to occur. And I've heard that as, like, you start to ask yourself, who is having the thoughts? And who is thinking about having the thoughts, you know? What is the greater that is there having the thoughts? And if you just sit there and the thoughts come and the thoughts go, you know, they don't define you. Okay. The more you watch your mind trying to understand or avoid the confusion, the more a shift inside you begins to occur. Thinking takes a great deal of energy. Something has to feed all those neurons. So when you take away the mind's food and your belief that it can help you, all the energy that is going into feeding it is gradually liberated. And I think, you know, thinking is the mind's food, right? Like, thinking takes a great deal of energy. Something has to feed all those neurons. Thus, the moment you take away the thought and your belief that thoughts can help you, your belief that thinking can help you, all the energy that was going into thinking is gradually liberated. And when you release the quantum energy that was latent inside of you, it begins to rise. This is how true creativity is born, and the human imagination is unleashed. Imagination is the expression of unimpeded life force coursing through your genetics. Imagination is born out of confusion, but only when you embrace confusion without trying to change it. Imagination allows alchemy to occur inside your being. At the gift frequency, pain can be more than simply expressed. It can become art. If you allow your pain, or the world pain, to be expressed through an artistic process, you will see alchemy in progress. All true art is alchemical. As long as you are courageous and honest, your expression will continue to evolve naturally to the higher frequencies. The other great power of imagination is that it spells the death of imitation. To imagine means to go where no one else has gone before, to break free from mental, intellectual, and cultural constraints, and let your mind soar upon the wings of your heart. That's just so good. So I wrote a poem that I felt summarizes that. Our imagination is our initiation into living from the heart, to embrace our inner confusion and transform it into art. There is no limitation when imagination plays its part. It rips apart the box we've all been shoved in from the start. It truly is alchemical to feel what one is feeling. To use it to create, that's the greatest form of healing. to take the pain that's deep inside us, hidden in the dark, and use it to ignite us. Yes, this pain can be the spark. I like that. Sometimes I just like my own poetry so much. I'm like, where did that come from? And it comes through, you know, it doesn't come from somewhere. It moves through. Like, it's always there. It's part of the confusion. When I started writing poetry personally, that helped me to take the confused thoughts that I had, or just the like muddle of thoughts that create the massive confusion in my head, and like put them into some type of physical form, you know, which was literally taking that confusion and turning it into art. Like, that's what I do with that. That's what I do when I paint. I take the entropy. I take the chaos and the disorder, and I try and turn it into something orderly. And that is the gift in giving over to confusion, because art doesn't come from things that make sense. Art comes from things that don't. We're here to make sense of things, and if we can't make sense of things within our actual senses, you know, if you can't see the feeling that you're feeling, if you can't hear it, if you can't taste it, if you can't touch it, if you can't smell it, you know, if you can't put a sense to the feeling, you have to be able to make sense of it somehow. It's got to come out in some form, and that's art. And we're all here to create something. And to slow down enough to feel into what that means for us, into what each of us as individuals is meant to create, because it's totally different for each and every person. You know, some people are meant to create art in the form of paintings. Some people are meant to create art in the form of new and improved plumbing systems for skyscrapers. I don't know. There could be an art to that, you know. Whenever you tear down the structure of what you think it's supposed to look like, you look at the confusing just jumble of what you've got left, and you build from there, right? And if you start from nothing, sometimes, like, even if you know something about a subject, sometimes letting go of everything that you know about that subject allows you a completely new perspective on it, and it allows you to create something entirely different and entirely new out of it. You might have a take on it that's so much better than it could have been, you know. Well, better is relative, but maybe it's more efficient, or more impactful. Well, even impact is relative, but still, you understand. I'm getting a little off topic there. Oh, that is so hot. Hence the slurp. I kind of want to pull a couple of cards about this. I wonder if I'm gonna do that. Why not? Okay. This one. From the Work Your Light Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. I need to start like linking these in there. Oh, let's see. Ooh, a nice slow shuffle, huh? One more. Okay. This gift of imagination. We embrace the confusion that creates our lives. If there was no confusion, then you would know everything that's coming. You would know everything that's going to happen, and that's just not. What fun would that be? There's so much beauty in the confusion. There's so much beauty in the unknown. Oh. Okay. Okay, a few just came out. We're looking for flyers here. Thank you very much. Okay. A card for imagination. Interestingly enough, the one that stood out for me was no, those that flipped over. Okay. Imagination. Mirror. Ooh. I'm not going to read the words on that. Who or what is triggering you? That's not. We're just looking at the mirror here, okay? Longing for home, belonging, the original Lightworkers, Minta Khan. And, ooh, awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. That is beautiful. All right. So what I'm seeing here in this mirror one, I don't know how the lighting is on that. Okay, but what I'm seeing in this mirror one is, as we were talking about, looking at the confusion within us. You know, that confusion that we feel on the inside is mirrored on our outside world. As above, so below. As within, so without, you know? So the more that we sit with and accept that that confusion is just always here, because without it, things couldn't be. Because, I mean, well, you couldn't experience them the way that you do, like I said, without knowing what's coming next. And so it's important for it to exist, but if you want to calm it, you have to calm your mind and calm your inner world so that you can calm your outer world. You start to notice that all the thoughts that come into your head and all the things that pull you out, you have a choice over how much of that you allow into your world. You have a choice of how many other people's realities you want converging on your own, you know? How many other people's energetic bubbles do you want intertwining on your own? Because all of that adds to the confusion inside. And until you're able to live a life surrounded by everyone else's confusion and not allow yourself to fall victim to the confusion within that, you have to set up some boundaries. Minta Khan, longing for home, belonging, the original Lightworkers. All right. I think a huge part of that has to do with imagination, and not just Lightworkers, but I mean all beings, you know, beings from the stars, right? All spirit beings who have chosen to come here and inhabit this body, which is what we all are. We have chosen to come here to the physical world. It's the only place where we can take our imagination and turn it into form. It's the only place where, I mean, maybe not the only, but on this plane, you know, we're able to come down here. She's all shimmery. She's all hidden. It's like very much more spirit than it is human. And that spirit is able to come here and, like I said, use our imagination to create. And if the spirit came here fully open and fully awake and aware of what was happening, there would be no confusion. And if there's no confusion, then there's no misunderstandings. And if there's no misunderstandings, then there's no lessons to learn. You've already made sense of everything if you understand it. There's no need to make sense of it. If there's no need to make sense of it, you don't need to turn it into art. And we are here to turn it into art. We are here to create an awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. Imagination is an integration. It's an initiation. Integration. I like that. Put that closer one more time. See? Being lifted up into the version of you that you want to be. Imagination is an integration. And as we integrate our imagination more fully into our lives, you start to realize that even the mundane things in your life don't have to be done the same. You know, if you use your imagination, everything can change. Your whole world can change. Your whole life can change. And there's one more part that I wanted to read from that real quick. I just love the way he words this, okay? This will close it out. Imagination is abstract, illogical, and wild. It creates wormholes between worlds, moving too swiftly to analyze itself for meaning or reason. To imagine is to leap, to bound, and to whoop with delight outside of all logic and pattern. It is the source of all art. Imagination is the integration. It is the initiation. The more that you imagine and the more that you believe in your own imagination, the more you are going to watch the world outside of you change. Because the greater things that we imagine, I mean, the more miraculous world that we create together. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the 64th Gene Key Gift of Imagination.